All right, welcome back to another stream. We're doing some more Saint speedruns. Wow, that's me. Get out of here. We're just gonna be doing attempts. I have done a decent amount of actual speedrun attempts off stream. None of them were successful, but they got pretty close. My goal for this is to get a run under 1 hour. That's the goal. I guess the other little challenge that I did yesterday was also kind of practice for this. So a big chunk of that was Saint. So yeah, let's get started, I suppose. I guess I want to. A lot of the problems with the streams that I've been having recently, with the buffering and the bitrate not being great, that has been. I think it should be fixed mostly, but the last stream I did actually did have some parts that were cut out. So hopefully, I think I will record at the same time. I don't know if that will cause any more problems. I haven't really tested it before. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, the fast roll button. It is annoying how this always resets the top right or the top left corner. Just have to move it back down at the start of every run. At least when I first open the game. There's an interesting part of the run where you just have to wait for this popcorn plant to pop. It's RNG. That was decently fast. I do have a lantern already. It is actually a slightly bigger time save than I thought, because it means they're not having to bring the lantern with you. It means that you can carry the popcorn bits into the shelter instead of eating them outside. No need to take the karma flower because I'm going to avoid dying. Well, if I die, I'll just reset the run. But I just don't really bother with needing the karma flower. Because I've done runs off stream that would have been sub-hour if I didn't die. So I think the main improvement I can make is just to not die, obviously. It saves about a minute. Because of the situation where I did die in those runs. Usually not too far from a shelter, because if you died really far away from a shelter, then why bother with even continuing with the run? But if you just died a little bit after leaving a shelter, then I guess you can continue. You didn't lose that much time. Just fell off there. It didn't go down that platform for some reason. Probably not a good idea to throw both items there, because then I can't do an extended slide with one of them afterwards. I've been very consistent at extended slides recently. It's always feels like it's kind of hard to practice movement like that, because if you're just in sandbox and you just try the movement, you're probably going to not mess it up that often. Of course, that is because you're practicing it in isolation. If you're trying it in an actual run, there's a much higher chance that you just mess up. That wasn't a great movement. kind of know that by the time I get to this gate, it should be around 3 minutes. I think it's possible to get here maybe just before 3 minutes if you're like right fast throughout the whole bit before this, but not for this run. But 10 seconds over it is not that bad either. I think really interesting about Saint is that oh gosh, we just take those slow. Whatever state that you're in the air is maintained as you grapple around. So if you do a backflip, you are in the backflipping state where you spin around. If you continue to grapple onto stuff, you will stay spinning around. If you do a pounce and you are in the like pouncing state, you will stay in that state. And of course, these affect your properties when moving through the air. And I think that in the like pouncing state, you're actually moving, your like speed is capped in some way. It's interesting. So I just feel like whenever I do like a slide pounce into like grappling along the ceiling, I always move slower than I could if I just like jumped normally. Thanks for the raid. It just feels natural to do a roll pounce there, but then you end up moving through this room a lot slower than you could, although, you know, the faster you're moving, the harder it is to control it. I don't think having perfect movement for this run is necessary to achieve my goal, but it would help out a lot to have more consistent movement here. But as long as I don't like make any major mistakes, or if I ever die in the run, as long as I just avoid that, I should be good. And RNG, I guess, you know, that's the next significant factor. If there's a lot of creatures in the way in some areas, like in Subterranean or in Subterranean is the big one. Creatures can be a problem. Falls down a hole in the tutorial. I'm still making a lot of mistakes though. Centipede, please move, thank you. Just another one. Like at the beginning of Farm Raise. Stuck. Ooh, it's always annoying. This is another bit of RNG. If the yeeks move too far away, it takes a lot longer to grab them. Like, look at this, they're already on the other side. Grabbed by Wormgrass. Just unfortunate. Slowed down a lot from the centipedes, and then the yeeks are too far away. That's fine though, pretty early on in the run. Gives another opportunity to improve my movement here. Although I think the movement in these like that first run, the first room, doesn't matter because you have to wait for the popcorn plant anyway. Decently fast. This game, its movement is very interesting. I think that the mechanics alone are like fascinating. Like the rolls and the slides and throw boosts, all the stuff like that. That alone would make for a really interesting platformer. But I think that something that's kind of interesting about Rain World is that it's not free. There's still like quite difficult timing on a lot of the movement. Like technically after doing a roll pounce, you can chain it into another roll pounce and just repeat to move decently fast. It's not the fastest way to move, but it's pretty good to just chain roll pounces together, also split. But you have to wait until like just the last moment of the roll to get the maximum height from the roll pounce. So it's something that you could do, but it requires actually like some careful timing. Doing slide pounces at all, it's pretty rough timing. And then any movement related to slides kind of inherits that timing. But I think it kind of makes the game more interesting. You know? It means that you pretty much always have to work for good movement. It's not like you can just go on autopilot. Maybe I can pick that back up. Whoops, that's not great. Centipede kind of messed me up, or maybe I'm just bad. Wow, that pole hop actually helped out. I didn't even mean to do that. I imagine that in situations like that where people discovered movement tech, like, oh wow, I just jumped off of that pole. Eventually, you know, figure it out. So I was about 3 seconds faster than last time. Big improvement. Probably just from the popcorn plant popping earlier. Guess I can do this now. And then of course I get stuck on the wall. But I feel like I should have grabbed onto that pole. That's fine. Overall, that was pretty good. Hello, welcome to the stream. I think that's kind of a strange thing about the movement in this game. When you're trying to exit a pipe, whoops, going up, you always get stuck in it for some reason. I always get stuck in it. Maybe there's something you can do to avoid that, but I feel like there should be a faster way to exit a pipe vertically. Just doesn't really seem to be a good way. Because like you can pipe boost. I think you should be able to pipe boost, but the timing is like really rough. Like I think I just did a pipe boost there. Maybe you just do it by pressing jump when you leave the pipe, but for some reason the timing is not easy at all. It feels like it should be easy, like just press jump when exiting, but sometimes you get stuck. seems random. Yeah, it's like way easier on some pipes than others. I think that gate just pushed the food into my mouth. At the very beginning of the rivulet run, you stay in a shelter and drainage system, and then the pipe that you take to leave the shelter, that's a really hard one to pipe boost out of. But then the pipe right after that is way easier. Oh gosh, they always like to camp on the pipes for some reason. I think with their AI, gets messed up. Trying to move between pipes probably. Oh my gosh, how am I alive? And just left again. But I'm gonna wait a little bit for the white lizard to move out of the way. There we go. Okay, never mind. That was because the yeek didn't want to do a big jump for some reason. It's still a mystery. I have no idea how yeeks actually work. But because of the way the runes load in. That's interesting. But I still don't know what's up with the yeeks. When you jump with a yeek, you're supposed to jump higher, right? The yeek gives you a boost. But not all the time. I don't know when you get the boost. There's some sort of situation where it happens that isn't always consistent. And so I would try to jump out of that little area where all the lizards were. And it didn't work. Why didn't it work? I have no idea. See, that worked. That pipe boost works. Climbing on the invisible pole. I have a theory. We're playing Gourmand. Well, I'm glad I'm not playing Gourmand right now. But in that very specific scenario, it would have helped. I've died to that fall right there a few too many times in these runs. Nice. That was actually a perfect DI hop. That was even better. Depends on physics updates. I think that the entire game runs on physics updates except for the like visuals, right? I don't know how the game gets your inputs. If that depends on... Oh, he's hit my head there. I had a theory that it's maybe if the yeek is touching the ground. So if like you're holding the yeek, and they like kind of like bounce up a little bit, like they tend to do, they're very jumpy. If they bounce around a bit and they like aren't touching the ground for just a second where you are pressing the jump input, then it doesn't actually count. Wow. Okay, gold split. I feel like inputs are based on how that work on poles. Maybe like any contact with something that like, I don't know. Yeah, they do work on poles. They also work on the surface of water. Hello, welcome to the stream. Sometimes I think I enter a pipe. So like I look at the chat while I'm going through the pipe, because it's a bit of time where I'm not really doing anything. But then I end up not entering the pipe, but I don't notice because I'm not looking at the screen. Sky Islands is actually probably the easier part, or one of the easier parts of the run. There's not too many creatures that get in the way other than center wings. And since it's early on in the run, you practice it a lot. So I've gotten pretty good at the movement there. Don't want to do a pipe boost there because I would take fall damage when falling down. So this area is where I've died like twice before. I don't know if I died the first time or if I just reset because it was way too slow. I need to be careful with that fall because I actually do take fall damage there quite a bit. That's not a yeek. That's a lizard. I'm like, oh hey, a yeek right there. That'd be easy to grab. But I got. You know, I never seen this popcorn plant pop before I get here. I'm a bit slow on eating this. I still have even yet to get to the... Like, once you get past those two lizards and farm rays, the run is pretty easy up until Subterranean. Hey, every time we restart, it means we get to listen to this song again. Which I'm a fan of. I grappled onto the pipe. That's cool. This is probably going to be a bit slow. They're pretty much the same as splits. Don't do that. Okay, huge migration. You can watch on whatever platform you want. There are a few other people on YouTube. Saint looks fun. They're probably, well, okay. Between Saint and Reveal It, it's really hard to tell. Which one I prefer. They're both definitely... The two of them are my favorite like characters based on their movement. I don't know what I just did there. So if you have an explanation, I'll read that when I get to the gate. Okay, a little bit slow. Physically touch the ground for 10 frames. So wow. So first of all, they may not touch the ground very consistently since they're always jumping around. Or you may hold them like slightly up in the air for a bit. And then you have to wait for 10 frames, which is this game is... 10 frames is actually quite a bit for this game. Okay, well I'll keep that in mind. I have noticed that if you touch the ground just for a second and then you immediately do another jump, it doesn't really count that jump. So that's why sometimes rolling for a bit on the ground can make it more consistent. But also sometimes when I come out of a pipe... Oh, it almost happened again. When I come out of a pipe and I try to jump with the yeek, it doesn't work immediately. So maybe that counter's like reset when you go through pipe or it doesn't refresh. So you have to like stand there for 10 frames before you can jump away from it. Hello, Vulture. That was good. So he's gonna have to do the room like that. Why does that happen? Oh, great. That sucks. This is a super long pipe. I think I was holding down that whole time, too. Or maybe I pressed up to try to, like, grab the pole. No, I wouldn't do that. That's real annoying, though. Because you can't cancel the tongue without jumping. Well, I mean, if it grabs onto a surface it can't stick to, obviously it's gonna get canceled. But normally you can't release your tongue unless you jump. So if you accidentally tongue like right when exiting a pipe, the only thing you can do is jump out of it, which just sends you back into the pipe that you're trying to leave. But that usually doesn't happen. It's strange. There's always send a wings right in front of the pipes. Okay, now the question is, can I actually not die to these? Lizard. This lizard should still be here. That time I got stuck in the pipe. There might be a lizard in here. Nope. There's a lizard around that area. Sometimes it does feel like you can just jump immediately though without any cooldown at all. Unless I'm overestimating how long 10 frames is. And then that time I waited a bit longer and I didn't get the extra jump. Fast roll, so fast roll specifically, I think the way that they help is that normally to roll you press down, right? But while you are holding down, you cannot get a high jump from yeet. So if you don't release down soon enough, then you just don't get the... You don't get the extra jump. But for fast rolls, you never press down at all. There's a separate button for it. I assume that it also works for controller. By holding at a different angle. So you basically just hold down the fast roll button and you'll always get the high jump. But if you hold down to do rolls, then that might cancel the high jump from the roll pounce. I think we're a little bit behind, probably just because of that pipe that I accidentally went back into. Yep. Not as bad as some other time losses that I've had. I think my farm rate split is quite slow on this preview. Actually, I think it's actually fast. I don't know. But I could still save time here. One of those time saves is getting a yeek. I actually grabbed him through the floor. That's cool. He was like halfway through that platform, so. Basically, this image is jank. That's pretty much what I figured out. I never understand why I go through that pipe backwards every time I drop down there. And it backwards. Okay, didn't get sniped. Just kidding. It's just the eek though, so it's not a problem. How many spiders are over here? Not too many, but they're in a bad spot. I think I can maybe sneak past this one. Actually grabbed onto me pretty well despite how fast I was moving. I don't know if their grip depends on if you can move fast enough to release yourself. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you get the jump after your normal jump. You know, there's an alternate reality where Rain World released with Yeeks instead of deer, and they became the way that we cross Wormgrass. And then you go to Outer Expanse, it's like, whoa, look at these deer that you used to cross the Wormgrass. Unfortunately, they're not as good as Yeeks. Will I die to a centipede here? That's my next question. Or a vulture. That vulture might die though. The Wormgrass. Wormgrass is hungry. Or no. Vulture is hungry, the Wormgrass is hungrier. Can you please move? Kinda need to go that way. Thank you. Oh, I don't like you. Maybe if I like hang out up here, he'll try to jump. Or I could just go. What'd you miss? I have no idea. Part of the speedrun. I don't know how long we were gone, but we died. I died a few times, and now I'm actually on a good run. Well, a decent run. I did lose some time on my way to, or in Farmeraise. I did die there, like what I tried to do last time. There we go, got a little bit of the time back. It's always strange in speedruns, right? I saved time on between Subterranean and Farmeraise, or the splits. But that's also time that I could have gained if I just didn't lose it in the first place. Right? Ow. Kind of awkward terrain to fall down. These scavengers. That was really good. I don't know if you could thread the needle there. Okay. If one of those scavengers didn't like me and had crazy reaction speed, I could have died. Oh, wow. That was a little closer than it should have been. Okay, how much time do I lose here? Mole lizard? Just a mole lizard. Okay, if that mole lizard eats a spider, I can just run past. Greedy. I was too greedy. I was like, oh, he bit the spider. I can run past him. No. Make sure that he's actually holding the spider before you just run through. That was actually really good luck, just to have a mole lizard there. Let's go through. Usually there's like scavengers, a caramel lizard, 10 spiders, a spider spider, 3 mole lizards, and a red centipede. I think that would have been really good if I didn't wait too long on the popcorn plant. The funny thing is that actually none of these time saves are relevant at all. All I need to do is have like a half competent run without any deaths. That's the main time save. I might have to explain this again for anyone who's joined the stream recently, or if I even explain this at all. But I've done some practice, or not practice runs, I've done real attempts off stream. And two runs got extremely close to sub-hour. One was an hour and like 20 seconds, and another was an hour and 5 seconds. So if I can do a similar run, also both of those runs died at some point. So all I need to do is do a similar run without any deaths, and it would be good. So like saving 5 seconds here and there. Well, I guess also if I did a similar run, but I saved 5 seconds, then it would be sub-hour. I guess 6 seconds. And I think the split that I'm comparing against right now is that hour 5 second run. So if I'm 5 seconds ahead, then that means I'll get it. I guess I can get 5 seconds time save just in these first 2 splits, so as long as I can just stay consistent for the rest of the run. That is not very easy. Top of a pipe entrance tile. It's not going to think it's on solid ground, so you can't jump from a pipe. Or is that just for like the cooldown, right? If the cooldown is already over, then oh, nice wall jump roll pounds, right? Then it would be able to jump. I don't know. We'll get to see the Yeek again, because I died. I partially like that Yeeks are in the run, just because it means that you can use them in a speedrun. Without Saint, there would pretty much be no reason to ever touch Yeeks. I think actually Gourmand might at the end of Outer Expanse. But this gives another reason for Geek's existence, as well as showing that they can cross Wormgrass. But also, they're kind of jank, and they're not very consistent. Just, you know, you want like really good consistency in a speedrun like this. Thank you, Centipede. I feel like that would have been, or that was faster than if I did that with a slide pounce or a roll pounce. Ow. Once again, he was always getting in the way. That's good though. White lizard check and caramel lizard check. They're bat flies. Well, there's the centipede. Oh, that's a time save. This guy's mad at me now. Come on, I get a yeek so early and then that guy kills me. And I missed the spore puff. I don't know if that would have released me though. Yeah, it's fine. You don't need to be chatting all the time. Also, anyone who's viewing the stream but isn't talking in the chat, I appreciate you too. Even if I don't know that you exist. Funny that in the other runs that I did off stream, I pretty much never died early on. And only a few attempts I managed to get to Rubicon. But of course, if I like died at some point but wanted to still continue the run, then maybe I would have restarted if I knew that I wouldn't have made it. System is held together with tape. Oh, wow, that was really fast. Popcorn plant RNG. could try picking that rock back up after it bounces off the wall. And that one. Look at that centipede grab onto me for a second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that again. I always feel when I'm trying to do extended slides around scavengers, like I don't want to throw the rocks at them. Even if it's a perfect place to do an extended slide, that's great. Yeah, there's this one pipe on the wall. Maybe you already know what I'm talking about. It's the pipe that enters the orb room. You can get crazy pipe boosts out of that pipe for no reason. Like you can climb all the way up the pole that's next to that pipe from one pipe boost, but that doesn't usually happen with pipes in this game. It's just that one in particular is really good. Whoops, that's a time loss. Everything was going pretty good. I still saved a lot of time. It would have been even better. And even on the pipes that you can consistently pipe boost from, I feel like the timing is still really tight. I've never really gotten consistent at it. Still alright. Just don't accidentally go back into this pipe. So I'll wait a little bit before jumping. Yeah, something I've been thinking about recently. I think that after the Rainworld like speedrunning event that happened recently, about a week ago, or maybe exactly a week ago, I feel like a lot of speedrunners have been kind of burnt out from Rainworld. I have not seen that many runs. And you know, it makes sense. This game isn't the most popular speedrunning game. But even like the players that I know who've done speedruns before, you know, are being less active. Please let me through. It actually kind of went surprisingly well despite all the creatures. Like Saint has a crazy movement system with the grapple that I really enjoy, and I think it has a really high skill ceiling. with how you can like build up momentum and try to like keep it when swinging throughout a room. And I kind of would think, you know, Saint would be one of the more popular characters to speedrun. Same with Rivulet. There's only ever been like 10 runs total submitted to speedrun.com for these characters. There's been more than that, obviously, but if you look at just the story percent or any percent categories, just more important for Saint, because Rivulet's any percent isn't that interesting. But the Saint's 80% is pretty much just story percent. But just between those runs, there's not been that many for characters that I thought would be way more popular to speedrun because of their movement. And that's just kind of because this community is super small. And also something that I don't think about too often, Downpour is DLC. I just kind of assume that it's just a part of the game now because I've gotten really used to it. But I'm sure that there's a lot of people who still don't have the DLC. And that makes sense. If you don't want to get it, or if you can't. So there's going to be less Downpour runners than regular Rain World runners. I think that's kind of why I've been able to get some world records, even though I'd never really expected that to happen. I just kind of, you know, liked playing some of the characters and decided to try speedrunning them. And eventually got me a world record for some of them. I feel like if I wanted to, and I really spent a lot of time on these speedruns, I could probably get world record in like most of the categories. Of course, like the more I spread out in like what categories that I do, the easier it'll be for someone else to take one of the records that I'm not like maintaining, you know. But I realized that it's just because this isn't a very popular speedrunning game. Of course, there's not going to be someone else who's like super dedicated on a single character. So the moment someone tries, like, or I guess I try to put a little bit of effort into optimizing a speedrun, it's not that hard to get a world record. But even a lot of the runners who have world records in like vanilla Rain World categories have not been continually doing runs, like doing attempts to try to get world records in Downpour categories, or even like runs in like vanilla categories that are changed because of Downpour. Like 1.9 runs, I suppose, with like remix mode settings. That's what I'm referring to. But Rain World is such a weird game. Sometimes I kind of think about, like, should I try to encourage more running? To, like, make guides or like competitions or something. Something to encourage speedruns in the community. Or, like, or not, I suppose. Those are the only options. I either do that or I don't, but it kind of feels weird recommending speedrunning this game. Because it's not really the best game to speedrun. Speedrunning is already a kind of like niche thing to do. But usually, you know, people play the games that are fun to speedrun. Games with like good movement systems, or just games that are really popular. Rain World has movement, but it has RNG. And RNG is another really big factor. Because people play this game and enjoy it a lot, but there's like a speedrun in this game that sounds awful. Because you have to deal with random creatures all the time. And yeah, that's true. It is kind of awful sometimes. Sometimes I think this game would be a lot more fun to speedrun if it was just didn't have creatures in it. It's just the platforming bits. But of course, you can't just take away the creatures from Rain World. They're like a super important part of the game. So I'm conflicted, you know. I don't know if I should always be like, hey, you should try out speedruns. Here's like some guys or tricks or like whatever, you know. When, you know, actually going in and trying speedruns. I know that this is a Discord challenge for basically just doing a Pebbles percent run. And some people say that the challenge is like awful. Some people really complain about that challenge. And it's just like a regular, like not that difficult speedrun. Especially with the time like under 30 minutes. Or I forget what the time required is exactly. I think actually 30 is pretty good. Maybe it's under 40 minutes or under 50 minutes. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's not that hard. But a lot of people find that quite difficult. Just a regular speedrun. And it kind of discourages them from ever trying other speedrun categories. But I can't really say that it gets better than that. Like, Pebbles percent is actually like a decently easy category compared to some other runs, especially like Downpour. Artificer, Spearmaster. Excuse me? I didn't want to grab you. Oh gosh, dear time loss. Thank you. Usually it's the deer tech, but this time it's the deer time loss. Anything happened in the past hour? Not really. I lost a few runs. The centipede is always a problem. Just don't jump that high. I'll be fine. I always die in... I keep dying in Farmerays. And if I get past here, I might die to Subterranean. I did lose time, I think because of the deer mostly. Just had to wait for that. This split can be a lot faster if you get lucky with the spiders. Not very focused on making the player feel good about playing it. I've heard someone say in like one YouTube video that this game isn't intentionally difficult and frustrating to make you want to ascend. Like, it makes you literally want to stop playing the game. I think that's a really useful technique in some forms of storytelling by kind of aligning the viewer's goals with the characters, right? So like the Slugcats are in this like rough, like this super rough environment where they constantly die to these creatures. That's what we're going to make the player feel like when they play the game, so that they really want to ascend, to really feel like a character trapped in a cycle. I guess that's a good thing, right? Wow, the game is so immersive, it makes you really feel like you don't want to play it. Because that's exactly what all the creatures in this world want to do. Or the ancients, I suppose, are the main focus. The ones who want to ascend. Oh, there's just a spider down there. I should just be able to push past them. Some games, specifically platformers, are usually a lot better at encouraging speedruns, because that's kind of the whole point. Excuse me, do you have to be this much of a nuisance? Okay, that was actually a really good entrance to Subterranean. This is the furthest I've made it this stream. Oh gosh, spider. Let's say, you know, Celeste, for example. That game has a very natural feeling movement system. And it's very obvious to tell like how you're supposed to improve, you know. It even like teaches you intentionally some mechanics that are used in speedrunning. I forgot to take out the lantern that I usually like to have for this area because of the spider. But Celeste super encourages speedrunning because the movement system is crazy. It teaches you a bunch of like movement mechanics that you can use to like skip portions of like early levels. Okay, that's a location for the spider to be in, certainly. There's even like some like shortcuts specifically added to levels to use in speedrunning. But of course, Celeste is a platformer. That's the main focus. Rainworld does a lot more than that. I think that the movement system compares quite well to Celeste, which it might be. It's something to say, certainly. But I probably like Rainworld more because it feels like you actually have to put in some amount of effort to move well, whereas for Celeste, it's like all the timings and all the everything is made significantly easier. I'm not exactly sure if that's a good thing though. For most players, of course, you kind of want to be able to easily do all the cool movement. And also, Rainworld doesn't really tell you any of it. Like, the best resource is that one document that everyone likes to bring up. That isn't even, like, part of the game. That's just something that people in the community made. Celeste pretty much teaches you all the mechanics in the game as you play it. And of course, Celeste is the much more popular game to speedrun, and more popular game in general. But I have tried speedrunning Celeste before, and it didn't really feel like... I don't know, I didn't really get interested in it the way that I got interested in Rainworld speedrunning. I'm not exactly sure if I have a good way to explain that. And yeah, Rainworld, yeah, is not just a platformer. I kind of like the idea of a game like Rainworld that it's just a platformer. The movement tech, like the slide pounces, roll pounces, extended slides, throw boosting, those kind of movement mechanics in a Celeste-styled platformer, I think would be really cool. But also, then it's no longer Rainworld. Rainworld is special in like 20 different ways than that. I don't know if the centipede can kill me. This is suddenly, I think I used up all my luck entering filtration, and now leaving is where it gets a lot worse. Luckily, this guy cleared the way. Don't do anything. Oh gosh, he raised his spear for a second. But they ended up throwing a rock. So we're good. Just kidding. Oh, this guy's nice. It's a wonderful thing that Saint has neutral reputation with scavengers. That's a guy. Okay, we're good. I don't know how the scavenger got past that centipede. But if oh gosh. I think you stay grappled even if you pass out. We're just gonna hang out up here. Unless I didn't get hit. Hello? we still have to wait for a bit. So like if I tried to eat these, I would drop too low. I think if someone wants to speedrun Celeste, they know what to do, right? It's like, oh yeah, I can do that. You know, just from playing casually, you can like understand why you'd want to speedrun the game. That's a large guy. For Rain World, people like ask like, how do I speedrun this game? Even though it's as simple as just playing it fast and like knowing a route. Okay, it's not really that simple, but it's like start a survivor run, go to Pebbles, and then go to the depths. That's speedrunning the game. But people like still don't exactly understand. Like I like ask like, how do I speedrun this game? You know, what kind of movement do I need to know? What this and that. It's not immediately obvious. Maybe some people think that there's some way to get around creatures. Like creatures are so annoying to deal with. Surely there's something that speedrunners do to make them not as much of a problem. But there isn't a trick. You just have to deal with them or get lucky. I love lag. Probably do an EI hop here to build up speed. That's a large guy. I guess I'm trying to say, like, I like the idea of this game having a bigger speedrunning community, but I also don't know if more people should be speedrunning this game because it can be kind of awful sometimes. And if I would want to encourage people to try speedrunning, I would probably recommend games like Celeste because of how perfectly suited they are for speedrunning and how like natural it feels. Jetfish. You know what? I'm just not going to bring the jetfish with me. They always end up slowing me down later by angering all the snails. If you get a death percent. If you want to spend 4 hours on it, yeah, go ahead. Actually, speaking of death percent, someone commented on that stream, VOD, and they said that the rot in Garbage Waste as Artificer is actually Brother Longlegs. Even though they're blue. And they can hear you, just like DLOs usually can. No, they are actually Brother Longlegs, and they're right. Those are, in fact, Brother Longlegs. They just happen to be blue, and they just happen to be able to hear like DLOs. And if you use mods to spawn in a Brother Longlegs, it will be blue and it will be able to hear. So I guess I should ask you guys. Oh gosh. Oh, get destroyed. Should that count as dying to a Brother Longlegs if you died to the ones in Garbage Waste? Because technically they are Brother Longlegs, but they're like pretty much identical to DLOs in every other way. Just dying once. The stupidest speedrun I've ever done is death percent as Gourmand, and specifically dying because as Gourmand, the strategy is to eat some food and then spit up a bomb and blow up. And I think it's about a 2% chance that you spit up a bomb. So I just had to restart every run waiting for that 2% chance, and I got it eventually. So maybe I have the world record or something. Because that's the fastest way to die. As any character, I think. Most characters starting areas are pretty safe, except for maybe Hunter, but it might take a while to walk over to the worm grass. I suppose any character that starts next to water could drown. It'd take a while for Rivulet. Yeah, I think it's Gourmand. I can do that the fastest. Artificer. No, you have to wait for the entire opening cutscene. But you would be able to die to the scavengers outside right after that. So maybe if you don't count the cutscene, an Artificer's faster. You know, I've lost too many runs to these giant jellyfish, so I decided just to start swimming way away from them. I used to think, you know, these jellyfish, they barely ever, like, hurt you ever. The tentacles aren't very good at grabbing you, they don't shock you very often, and the hitbox that actually kills you is pretty small, so don't worry about jellyfish at all. And then I proceeded to lose several potential sub-hour Saint speedruns because I died to jellyfish. So I'm never doing that again. Bad time for the gravity to change. Yeah, at Spearmaster, I think they are DLLs. But I tried it out. I tested it out in Artificer's campaign. If you kill one on the kill screen, it says it shows that it's a brown DLL icon, aka Brother Longlegs. Yeah, but I don't know if that should count for the death percent where you try to die to every creature, because it's like functionally identical to a DLL. But it's also like technically a Brother Longlegs. That's weird. But it would make the run a lot better because you wouldn't have to go out of your way to die to one as Rivulet. Thinking about that run more, I've thought of a lot of ways to improve it, so I will be doing another run. Because there's a lot of things I could plan out, like not playing Spearmaster as much, the BLL thing, what else was it? There's one more thing. Oh yeah, food. I always wanted to shelter without like getting food in advance. So I also need to route out when to get food. And all of those combined should make the run a lot faster. One of the moments of all time. I think it just reverts to our default dialogue. Even though she usually said some weird stuff because of the echo. The moment you leave, she's like, oh, okay, bye. I don't know why I'm losing so much time here. What did I do? Oh, waiting for the Miros birds. I assume that it was mostly stuff in Subtrain that slowed me down there. But that split. It's better than dying, though. This jellyfish can be kind of scary sometimes. It's pretty hard to get that whole bit of movement. I like to stun this spider because they always get in the way in these next few rooms, but they never attack. We kind of learned from last stream that it's actually quite hard to die to those spiders. Yeah, they're just always the larger variants as the early slug cats. But I guess the game technically still counts them as brother longlegs for some reason. So in order to make that jump as Rivulet, if you just hold down jump, you jump too high. So I got used to just tapping jump for a bit, but it's not high enough for Saint. It's funny how so many of these speedruns share similar rooms across the different campaigns. Yeah, even if you spawn in Brother Longlegs with like Beastmaster mod, they'll spawn as a DLL. Oh, I suck at that jump right there. Troll lizard? Uh-oh. A little bit further than usual. That means that they're not in their usual troll location, although they still did it a little. Blue lizard down there is not a great thing to see. It could come back through the pipe. Echo? Okay, they're deactivated by the echo. I didn't know it actually reached that far. The echo effect. Unless they died to the gold or something. Also, I guess, yeah, that makes sense because the spiders that usually enter this room, they're always, like, they look dead. Excuse me. I usually don't see them here. Still losing time. Maybe I can make up a little bit of it. This is a kind of difficult screen because everything is grappling onto stuff that's off screen. You kind of have to memorize where to grapple to exactly. I didn't really make up for it. Still losing time. Shit has a soft lock. I think that room is actually filled with spears, so it's not usually a problem unless you get all the spears stuck in walls in the wrong spot. But I think what's even more fascinating about that is that that's like the only room with the soft lock at all. Like for how open this game is and how you can take like every single you can take whatever path through it you want. There's only like 2 soft locks in the game total. That's fascinating. Like they really designed this world well so that you can never get stuck while still making it feel natural. Troll lizard is back. Run is 102 on the splits. The run that I'm doing right now. That's the time that I got on a run off stream. And the in-game time was 1 hour and 5 seconds. So I like to enter this room while flying because the red spider likes to be right here. It might be higher up or just somewhere else in town. Hello, dude. Bye. Still losing time. I guess that just means I've been keeping up with pace. Saved a little bit there. Remember, I just need to save 5 seconds. Or 6 seconds. Although it would be kind of interesting just to get 1 hour exactly. Although these next few sections are some of the harder parts of the run. Going back through Subterranean specifically. And Rubicon can be rough. Shoreline can be rough. I've like surprisingly lost a lot of runs in Shoreline. I do need to remember to get food here. Which is pretty much just this one blue fruit. Category requires that I send both. Yes. That's the difference between story percent and 8%. Story percent is just ascending to iterators. The main difference is that we have to shelter up in Silent Construct instead of just getting to the Echo and warping back to Shoreline. And then also having to go back to Moon after getting the fight. Alright, Mirror Soldier check. Well, now there's a bunch of leeches there. Not when I wanted them last time, though. Kind of weird thing to say that you want leeches. Okay, that's just an instant that's waiting to happen. Merino soldiers are very persistent. They like to stick around and wait till the very last moment to try to get you. So I actually did time this. It's better to stay in this shelter than the one closer to Moon. I assume it's just because you don't have to... Because after seeing Moon, you can exit out and return back to this shelter, so you get sent further back. If you stay in the shelter closer to Moon, then you end up just having to walk back for longer. Plus, I think that this route to Moon, I like taking this upper path, is faster than what you would do otherwise. I can never figure out which route is ever the best just by like looking at it. I always have to test it out. I died to these jellyfish while flying in another run. I thought that, you know, as long as I fly, I'll be completely safe against the jellyfish. That is not true. Like the most central shelter in Shoreline, yeah. Now I can't use up all my flight here. I'll have to wait for a little bit because this room is quite long, so I just want to make sure that I have enough to get past the jellyfish. There they are. And a Leviathan if they show up. Actually, I was a little bit too safe on that. I could have used more. And I decided, you know, might as well just use up a little bit extra to swim there. I don't even know if that's faster though. Okay, that also works out. I tried to fly there to stop my speed going upwards, but didn't need to. Okay, got the time save back. Not nearly as much time save as I thought I would get, considering that I think it was around this point where I died to a jellyfish and the run these splits are from. That's just about not dying or getting through the rest of the run quickly. Okay. This is kind of risky if I run into snails. I'm gonna leave him behind there. Careful with those. Okay, we're good. Even with god powers, snails are still very dangerous. Where is that lantern mice even going? Mouse. Singular. Yep, I'm good just going by. Slowest way to go through this room, goodness. I thought that was a spider or a centipede, but he was just on the floor for some reason. Bird check. They're definitely going to be in the next room, though. Should always enter this room ascended or flying. Okay, there's just so many I can't ascend them all. I think one of them is stuck. Or doesn't want to move. Okay, just kidding. Also, you get shifted around a bit when you're like aiming the ascension ability. Okay, just want to be safe and make sure this last Mirror Bird didn't get me. You shift around a bit when you're aiming, and sometimes that can. There's a Mirror Bird or it's just a drop word. These rooms can be really annoying if there's a lot of scavengers in them. Looks like there's a dead scavenger though. Here's the wig. Don't give them ideas. That'd actually be a lot more scary because usually drop wigs aren't great at catching you. Right? They'll drop down and if they miss, they'll do these like big lunges at you. But those can actually miss pretty easily. But if they are had like a Mirror Bird head, and you'd just be like biting at you constantly. Any one of those could kill you. That'd be not great. But also be pretty easy to make. I think it's like not too hard to just add like a Mirror Bird head to any creature, because I think that's how Mirror Sculptures were made. So they probably wouldn't be great at hiding, because they always like to be biting at the air, so they'd be quite loud on the ceiling. Kind of hard to tell if you even get a fast fall because the weird slowdown effect. Also, for whatever reason, I have not a great Rubicon split. Like, I saved like 2 minutes here. Maybe that's where I died on this run earlier. Also, it always bothers me that karma symbol that shows up on the screen, it has like a little dent in it on the very top, where the line isn't filled in all the way. That always bothers me. And also when it like fades out, you can see like also there's a firebug right there. I knew they would show up in the very starting area. I've seen that before. But when the karma symbol is fading out, you can see the like intersecting lines at different opacities. This guy is going all over the place. And remember to make sure not to grab onto him after he's dead, especially if he's about to fall into the lava. So what kind of awful creature is over here this time? There we go, that's their answer. Don't see anything else here. There's usually like a red centipede or a red spider. You suck. You see that guy, he was clinging onto the wall, but because of the like, up force in this region, he was getting pushed up slightly. That's funny. Now I hate these rooms, because you have to go like constantly through screens where you might find a red creature. Every screen transition, like there's the red lizard. And I just happen to run out of my light. Maybe this path would be safer. I don't know. No, I don't know where creatures normally are in these areas. But you know, this path also works. There weren't any red creatures that way. I have several problems with that. Why was there a lizard right there? Why was I not able to go back through the pipe? Well, I know why, because the guardian locked it, but then the lizard had no problem. And also, I was already in the ascended state, or not the ascended, the flying state, so I couldn't move down because I was, I don't know. Certified rain world moment. That sucks. That would have been good. But okay, at least I know most of the time save in this run is entering Rubicon. So I was only like not that far ahead on the previous split, but then entering Rubicon it was like a minute ahead, so pretty much no matter what I do, as long as I don't make any major mistake, it will be fast enough. But past that room, there's, okay, well, I just don't like waiting that long. Past that room, there's some kelp. There's some snails. And like a red lizard that's out of the way. Like the run is pretty easy past that point. It just happened that there was a slime lizard hanging out there. Or I've never seen a slime lizard before, by the way. That's much better. No centipede. Those lizards are in there now. Okay, that's wonderful luck. Hello? Saw him in there for a second. Well, there goes all the time save I had in this one room. All of it. They're long gone. Oh, what? Okay, well, goodbye to this run. It all goes great until RNG. Yeah, if only. Just start the run with it. New game plus. We are. I got a lot of small mistakes here. Should have kept that rock. It's pretty smooth. Sky Island Skyward started playing. I think that technically this run also goes through the room where it normally plays. It just doesn't trigger for some reason. That was like a frame away from getting gold. Because it's that like big box room where there's usually a bunch of squidcados. Entering that room from below or around that area is where Kayava starts playing, but it might be random or it might be from like a specific direction they have to be going in. A lot of songs only play if you like enter the room from a certain direction. And some it doesn't matter. I kind of thought of a speedrun where you try to listen to like every song in the game. So you go to all the zones where music gets triggered. Excuse me. You're kind of in the way. %33% chance for Kayava specifically. So I know some songs that's like pretty much guaranteed. Because I know that in a lot of speedruns, sometimes there's a song that plays every single time you restart the run. Another naked here. I did the same mistake there, yeah. Alright, well I see multiple lizards here. Not yet. I got trolled again. I thought that the white lizard was a yeet. They're pretty much like the same color. It's another time loss. Remember that one time when the yeek was just like right there when I entered the room? That was wonderful. Can we go back to those days? Let me guess, there's another geek over there again. Or not. Oh, this still took way too long. I guess I should remember this whole time that there's like a minute time save waiting for me at Rubicon. So as long as I get there, then there's a chance for this run to be sub-hour. You don't know, that's the whole goal I'm going for. My thing is that I actually already have a world record, technically. I just submitted that at a run, but it's so close to sub-hour that it feels like I might as well just go for it. Although, of course, it hasn't been easy so far. Okay, glad I got into the pipe quickly. Someone should make a mod that adds a creature that looks like a spear on the floor. And you go to pick up the spear, but then it like stabs you or something. I mean, there's like ghost scavengers. But like the spear would be a creature like a dropwig where it sets up itself up in a location. Or I guess it's more like a pole plant, huh? Hello deer over there. I guess it's just kind of like dropwigs with extra steps. Or maybe with less steps. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. Once again, deer slowing me down. He goes flying. So there's a spider down there or a scavenger? Can't tell. Okay, I think this was actually kind of slow. Mostly because of having to get the yeek. That was the slow part. Need Karma's Hunter? A pole plant killed you? That is exactly why I don't like Hunter. Situations like that where you need karma, and you lose karma, and then you can't afford to spend the cycle to get karma back. So you basically just lose the run. Oh, even more time loss. Wonderful. That's about 50 seconds I lost. That's fun. But remember, you know, as that just means you're gonna get a better time save later. Oh great, thanks for running away. Something that I always like to think is about chaos. Sometimes you might have regrets, or you may think that, you know, there's something that you could have done in the past that would have been better. But a different action in the past would lead you to a completely different future because of chaos, or I guess in this scenario it's more of like the butterfly effect. So you never know, you know, maybe a bad decision in the past led to a better future. But of course, we can never verify things like that without a time machine. Just think of that as a possibility, you know? Just stab me. That poor spider. So I lost a bunch of time early in this run, right? But that might mean that I'll just... Oh, great. Okay, well, this isn't a great start to that. But, you know, maybe I'll save more time later. Just kind of have to keep going to find out. Yeek gameplay. Yep. Use the yeek in the Saint run. It's part really interesting that, or it's cool. It's part cool that we get to use the yeek, and part not fun because the yeeks are very inconsistent. Only sometimes I get the like big jump from them, but this is the main reason why. Being able to jump over worm grass. even if they get stuck sometimes. So will there be a deer here blocking my path? Oh, they will just be centipedes. Here's the deer. Actually, help me out. Deer can help sometimes. Not sometimes. Usually unintentionally. I got some of that time back. I like this echo activates way earlier than the other ones. Or maybe it's just because you spend most of the time going through the pipe before you actually can move on your own. Will there be scavengers here? No. Surprisingly not. I always think there's spiders in this room, but it's just the sound of the bat flies. For some reason, I think it's a very similar sound effect. Something to do with the bat nymph. Or maybe just the bat flies interacting with stuff in general. Thank you for that. Okay. What kind of time lost is right here? We got a mole lizard, spiders. Okay. This is actually good. Mole lizard will clear the way. I mean, geeks. Why geeks in particular? I mean, I guess I don't really have any other options. Stretchy. That's why. Well, technically every creature is stretchy. Okay, there was an earthquake just now. Something the mole lizards are doing. Hello, spider. Do you want to not be a problem? Okay, if they chase after me, I'm not gonna live, but they don't seem interested. That was a bit risky. Okay, that was pretty good. Getting into filtration and then going through it. Not bad. 110% more natural disasters. It's nice that rain is the only thing that we have to worry about. That is very consistent and predictable. I mean, I assume that, you know, there's a lack of those natural disasters because Rainworld is on a completely different planet, or doesn't have like the same. I'm not exactly sure how to describe this. It's not comparable to Earth, so like earthquakes don't even exist, or like volcanoes. I really like the idea of a volcanic region, just as a place to put fire bugs, but I understand that it probably wouldn't make sense in Rainworld. Okay, I thought this was consistent. There we go. Yeah, green stars. That's one of my favorite little details in this game. The stars being green. Like, there's no explanation, there's no, like... It's never mentioned. It's just something that's, like, completely different and that doesn't really make sense, but it's just, like, you know, that can happen here. That's just how they are. Okay, we got our time back. Also, the moon. This is something that's really strange to me. There's a moon, right? And it looks like a sphere. It looks like a regular moon. Oh, great. But it's this sucks. It never moves. It's always in the same exact place. Oh, yep, I'm here. I hate when they do this. Will there be something in this pipe? Yes. It's just a regular spider. Yeah, run away, please. You like to move, please? Okay. No Miros problems. Just kidding. Can I run past? I'm not gonna risk it. I mean, that centipede didn't even know that I was there. They have pretty limited senses. And it's pretty hard to make noise in a tunnel like that. Is that a dead lantern mouse? Yes. Oh, that's why. And there's going to be another one. I actually didn't show the orange in the pipe of the centipede. Gosh, this is always terrifying. Nope, not close at all. Oh, that's a time save there. Going that quickly to that room. Yep, we're just gonna hug the ceiling. All good. went a little too far. Yeah, what happened earlier, the lantern mouse got grabbed by the centipede and then went through the pipe. And in that scenario, the centipede gets dragged along with them. But I guess that doesn't show visually that the centipede is even there at all, because it looked like just the lantern mouse was moving through the pipe. But then a centipede appeared. Okay, we're not gonna do that again. That snail was ready to get me down there. Also, what is up with this jetfish? They're always just like spinning around in circles right here. You waited that long to ask that question again? We're gonna risk it. That was risky. That was pretty close. That snail was like not that far away from popping. Alright. Time to die to jellyfish. I think I do like having a rock there for the throw boost. You can end up making that jump. Nice pounce. I do like doing this. Oh, leech down there. Talking about Don't Starve and Terraria. Earlier we were talking about Celeste. It's cool that all of you have like similar interests. I think just because of Rain World. Rain World is the common interest. And it just happens that all those other games are like somewhat similar. Imagine one time I'm gonna swim under this jellyfish and then the Leviathan is gonna get me from off screen. Oh, it's time for gravity to turn back to normal. I'm only a fan of games I find fun. Imagine that's the same for a lot of people, actually. Okay, don't usually fall down here. There's always a lag spike right when I enter this room. You can in fact go too fast there. Good time for gravity. It's a good gravity cycles. Somehow I got turned around because of that. I always struggle with this room for some reason. I did it really well one time and then never again. This room looks way bigger on the inside than it does from the outside. Whoops. Okay, good thing there's water there. Messed up that throw boost. I think I pretty much used the same rock that whole room. Just by picking it up every time it landed. Otherwise I would not have had that much to throw boost with. Also, what did I lose? I always lose time on this split. I don't know why. I feel like I do it pretty well. It is a pretty long split, so you know, losing time in subterranean and in shoreline are all added up there. Someday I'm gonna jump into this room and immediately die to a Miros vulture. You know, that the spider may have like sped me up a little bit and trying to enter that pipe. I think they're trying to attack me now. They gave up. I picked up a lantern mouse and it dropped my food. OSDs are good at mostly coincidence. I disagree. Usually good games like those in particular kind of come with good OSDs because of the way that they're created. Made by developers who are actually passionate about the games that they're making, and so they actually put in effort when making music for it too. Not that like you know, most games don't have effort put into their music, but with like a developer or with a game that has less developers working on it, then it's more likely that the few developers that there are going to like have a deeper connection with the game because they're like the handful of people who are making it. So they're also, you know, better at understanding the kind of music that the game needs. If the more developers the game has, then the less connected the like musicians are going to be, for example. So they're just basically being told, hey, make a song that fit these criteria or whatever. But if there's less developers and the same person who makes the music is also the person who's like developing most of the rest of the game, then there's no like trying to figure out what to tell the musician to make. They're the one who knows already. I always hear Mirrorless Birds leave this room. Or I guess they're just like hanging out on that side of the room. Pig step moment? I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand the appeal of pig step. It's like, alright. Oh, looks like I'm gonna lose a lot of time. Maybe just because I've been streaming. No. And also I've been doing attempts for like a few hours. I might be like a little bit distracted and not as focused as I could be. So I'm not really noticing that maybe I'm not doing movement as well as usual. But it always sucks when you lose time and you just can't really can't really understand why. Or I guess it could also be because like the run that you're comparing this, like that you're getting the splits from, that run was just really good and you're comparing against like a abnormally good time. Or abnormally lucky run that actually got those splits and actually finished the run. I almost made the same mistake there again. No, it's pretty much the same as last run. Most of the music discs are kind of boring. Yeah, I think it kind of fits in without that. It is definitely unique compared to the other ones. I always try to activate flight right there, and it never works out. You just don't have enough space. I've played Minecraft in like 4 years. Basically, the composer for Celeste made some music for Minecraft. The ceiling in this room is like really uneven. Kind of hard to swing across it. Hello, Vulture. I don't know if I've ever seen a Vulture in that room. Expect it to be a Mirrorless Vulture. Kind of how Saints campaign is. There's another one. Another vulture. Oh, we're spinning for a bit. Sorry about that. I hit him with a rock. Yeah, the story percent run requires you to ascend the iterators. I completely sniped him. That was not great. All those lantern devices coming out of that hidden pipe made me think that I had to go down there too, for some reason. Not the first time I've made that mistake. For whatever reason. Yes, vulture check. There are none. In here? Nope. Okay, that's a time save compared to that other run. Will I die to jellyfish today? Save a bit of this for the jellyfish. Oh, those are... I don't know what they're called. But you can... Those like green glowing bubble fruit looking things. Yeah, you can eat those. I assume the things at the bottom of this room. What are you talking about? Yeah, they glow. You can use them as lanterns. The scavengers like them. They're worth half a food pip because they wanted to... The devs wanted to fill some underwater areas in submerged superstructure with lights. They also thought it'd be good to make them, or to have a food that would be good for like underwater areas, but because they glow and they wanted to use them as lights, they would have to spam them and then there'd be way too much food available, so they're worth half food pip. Not just Moon tries to dodge the Ascension. So I'm pretty sure the 50-second time save was because I didn't die to the jellyfish. So I think I lost about 40 seconds to that death. I went from being behind by a lot to being ahead by a lot. Okay. A little bit dangerous with the snails there. Luckily, when you're going on the way back, the snails all start in that one room and they don't have time to spread out, so that's pretty much the only place you have to worry about them. No, I got the jetfish. And I almost drowned. Just trying to swim back up because I thought I was Ruby Lit for some reason. Playing Ruby Lit, I kind of got used to spamming swim boost sometimes. Because they're like Ruby Lit can do that a lot more. I forget that they use up a ton of air as the other character. Well, they still use up a ton of air as Ruby Lit. Ruby Lit just has way more. Honestly, I'm kind of sad that you very, very rarely hear threat music in speedruns. Because usually, when you enter a region, there's a song that plays for that area. I'm not gonna risk this. But when you enter an area, a song plays, and usually you go to that area so quickly that the song ends before there's time for threat music to start up. I think I ran into that kelp. It slowed me down for a bit. Massive centipede? Nope. This little guy. Massive centipede in this room. Nope. There's the... That's not like that big of a centipede. No, I'm gonna do this. Be safe. Didn't need you. Alright, will there be guys in this room? No, for once there isn't. But you do have to be very careful because they're on the platform over there. They like to, they can reach you on that platform. They did get rid of the kelp for me though. Ooh, centipede. A really bad spot. Yeah, I want a rock. Actually, it doesn't matter. Put the drop bug in this room. I don't see it. It's probably down here. I don't see it at all. It's kind of scary. It's a scavenger right there. You aggressive? He doesn't have a spear. Okay, a bunch of like little time losses here and there, but we're still moving. And there's no mole right here, which is good. Actually, I think I might remember what all the time save is from. On the Rubicon split, because there might have been like a bunch of mole lizards or spiders when entering filtration. I could probably have just snuck into that pipe. I didn't want to risk it. Yeah, I don't know if that's a dangerous size of centipede. Could have been. Everything is dangerous against Saint. I don't know if it matters if you're facing forward or backwards when going through a pipe while flying. Okay. Time to die to a red lizard. Or a cyan lizard, or a red centipede, or a spitter spider. I might not look at chat that much. Alpha creature over here. Nothing. Just kidding, there is absolutely something. There's multiple somethings. Took them all out in one ascension. Global ascension. Not all of them. Okay, now he sees me. Let's get going. I really don't like this room. Although there were so many red lizards there that there's probably not many up here. There's a cyan lizard. Just don't like that there's so many vertical transitions that you can't see anything in when going through them. Right here, this was the cyan lizard that killed me last time. Yeah, they're going into that room again. Will they continue into that room or will they walk back? I think they're... They're probably camping the exit again, aren't they? Okay. Just want to be extra careful in this area. Cyan lizard is still in a really bad spot because the next room is not very open. If they would like to come over, I think they're scared of the kelp though. Oh, come on. I'll be waiting here. I'll be waiting. Oh, really? Nice dodge. But also, thank you for revealing this little shortcut through this room I did not know about. That's a faster way to do that. Just kidding. You can't go through this. You can't go through this, though. I feel like I'm just losing all the time that I had saved up into Rubicon. But this is just kind of how this part of the run is. Okay. Actually, this is kind of bad. This is very bad. I don't have enough meter to, I'm not, like, barely enough to fully ascend the Guardian, plus that Mirror's Vulture. Maybe I'll get distracted by other creatures in the room. Okay, not great, because now that's the ascension I could have used on the... Okay, that was super lucky. But now this guy's kind of in the way. Now they're also in the way again. Okay. So this has been a pretty slow Rubicon so far. Continues to be not great. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm kind of just terrified of falling into the orange. All right, that sucks. It's gonna be the end of the stream. Don't have enough time to do another run. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just kind of slipped. Well, thanks everyone for watching. See you.